So isn't 2500 transistors per cell kind of expensive in terms of building a single cell, especially if that cell is just going to be used as a simple piece of wire? Yes, absolutely. From one perspective, that's a huge waste of resources. But that's looking from a different paradigm. That's looking from a paradigm where we think of transistors as our basic building blocks. What we would like to shift to is a mindset where we think of our basic building blocks as being a collection of, say, 100,000 or a million cell matrix cells. Those cells themselves are made up of transistors, which are made up of atoms. And if you look at the number of transistors in a cell or in a collection of a million cells, it's ridiculously huge. But similarly, if you look at the number of atoms that are making up a single transistor, that's also ridiculously huge. If you look at the number of atoms inside a single CPU, that's a crazy number. But we don't count atoms. We count transistors, or maybe we count CPUs if we're building clusters. So it depends on what you're viewing as your atomic unit. What we're hoping for is a manufacturing paradigm where we no longer have to worry about individual transistors the same way that we don't have to worry about individual atoms when we build today's integrated circuits. So were it possible to build transistors at a very small scale, we could start thinking of cells as just kind of stuff. And you just need more stuff to make a more complex circuit. And the number of cells that you need to implement some large-scale self-managing, self-repairing circuit might be significant, but we wouldn't think about how many transistors or how many atoms went into making each of those cells. It would be just a measure of cell count. Or perhaps the idea of a supercell. You think of a collection of a million cells making one of these high-powered supercells, and that becomes your new atomic unit. So yeah, from today's point of view, using an entire cell with 2500 transistors to make a piece of wire, extremely expensive, very wasteful. From a higher level perspective, where the cells are no more precious than the individual silicon atoms that we use in making integrated circuits today, that's not going to be an issue. So that's the kind of paradigm that we're shooting for.